Hey guys, welcome to this segment from Sketch A Day Live on Sunday, May 24th, where I show you how to draw this land train. That's at least what we're calling it. It's Sci-Fi Sunday, where I draw stuff from my imagination, also take suggestions from you guys. If this is your first time joining Sketch A Day Live, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on alerts, because you don't want to miss when we go live 3 times a week. Wednesdays 4 p.m. Pacific, Fridays 9 a.m. Pacific, and Sundays somewhere between 12 and 2 Pacific. If you want to support Sketch A Day and what we're doing here, one of the best ways to do that is hit up the store at sketchaday.com, where we have posters, stickers, and even downloadable content like my Procreate brushes. Come say hi on the socials. I'm at sketchaday.com on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at Daily Sketches, and I'm pretty easy to find on Facebook, so check that out as well if that's your jam. So I'm gonna make a new document. I don't know why, I just want to do it. And I'm working with something about 11 by 19, so it's a little bit beyond like an A3 size or tabloid size paper. I forgot to set landscape, so let's go here, image, rotation, 90 degrees clockwise. And admittedly, I haven't been using Photoshop a ton. I've just had so many requests for brushes that I decided to make some brushes. And yes, Matt, it is Sci-Fi Sunday. Welcome back. Monty Man. Oh, first time on the stream. Nice. England. What time is it in the UK right now? I'm curious. What time is it in the UK? All right, so I went on a run this morning and I was just thinking about ideas, concepts, whatever for a vehicle. I didn't really settle on anything in particular, so I'm just gonna start. We'll just do a quick rough sketch here. All right. So something to set up a perspective. I want it to be above and below horizon line. You know, maybe we can do something with tracks. I don't know yet. We're just kind of riffing here, and we'll just try to move very quickly. So a lot of times I'll start with, you know, some sort of base sketch to establish the proportion. We can drop the opacity even, make a new layer. I find it helpful at times to draw small, so I'm going to zoom out and create a gestural sketch over this main sketch. All right, so shrinking things down really small so I can draw real fast, okay? So just a reminder, if you are watching on the YouTubes, or sorry, the Instagram, I always do that. If you are watching on the Instagram, be sure to check out the YouTube, because that's where all the big stuff gets posted. You know, what if this thing had treads and wheels? I like those. So we can do some treads, some sort, maybe 2 sets of wheels up front. This thing I was kind of imagining, you know, maybe some shape like this. I'll figure out what it is eventually. You know those old school locomotives where they have that like kind of scoop on the front? I like things like that. And not only the scoop, yeah, maybe this is like a land train. How about we go with that? It's some sort of land train. Maybe some post-apocalyptic dystopian land train. All right, we can go with that. I think that'd be cool. Matt gave me a super tip this week. I didn't have time to set it up, but I'm gonna be automating the chat a little bit. So if you guys ask questions, I may hit you with some responses here and there, but I just want to give a shout out to Matt for that, because that's gonna save me a lot of time and help you guys get to the answers that you want to get to. But once again, thanks for the support. Thanks for being here and being a part of this stream. Like I said, just trying to sketch a little bit faster today. I feel as though with digital sketching, sometimes I slow down and I'm like too, what's the word? Too mental about it, I guess you could say. So I'm just trying to see if I can go a little bit faster. All right. Yeah, I like the idea of this land train. You know, it feels cool, at least as an idea. So maybe we can even look up some locomotives and see if there is see if there's some inspiration we can pull from all this. I do like to do that from time to time. So if there's, you know, if I'm drawing something and I want it to have a certain feel, I might take a look at some images and go, okay, here's some details or things I can pull in to my sketch. So just a quick scan, and this will help add to the credibility, I think, of your drawing. All right. So I may add some technical, underpinnings, things in here. And yes, this is the first of a few redraws that we'll have, but a lot of times these drawings you see, you may go online and you're like, how did they do that? There's a lot of redrawing, there's a lot of gesturing, a lot of things like that happening. So don't beat up on yourself if you're trying to draw something and you can't figure out for the life of you why your drawing does not look as good on the first try. Odds are it's not their first try either. That's something I had to learn as well. All right, now I'll add the details to these tracks later here, but I like the speed of this so far. Let's scale it down a little bit. Actually, let me make sure I have both of these layers selected. And now I can scale down just so it's not crowding the page too much. Quick shortcut and tip here. If you want to just zoom out real quick in Photoshop, you can, let's see, make sure one layer is selected. You can just hit Control or Command 0 and that'll take you to 100%, I believe, or fill the screen rather. Okay, so that's what's gonna happen. Let's see, Monty Man's asking, do I stream every day? Not yet, but I'm seriously considering it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the recaps. I uploaded a bunch this morning. And the recaps are just meant for you guys to have an easy way to find something. So if there's something in the stream and you want to find it again later, that'll be there in the recap. You can check it out and so on. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this land train as a concept. It feels right. It feels like, I don't know if you've seen Mad Max Fury Road. Have you guys seen that movie? But yeah, it feels a little bit like that vibe, right? Maybe this scoop in the front actually comes in front of the wheel too. So we can extend that out. Yeah, that feels good. Just bring that out. So you have this almost armored looking land train thing. Cool thing with Photoshop too though is if you draw, and sometimes when I draw, I draw things that may appear to be inline. So I could bring this wheel out or this tread out, for example. And I just did that by using the Lasso tool, but now it gives me a chance to go, okay, what's on the backside here? Maybe there's some structural things. Again, reference your images, take a look if there's something shape-wise that makes sense that you want to pull in. A lot of really cool details. And I feel like for drawings, a lot of times what gives them some credibility is when you can, maybe I'll add a ladder here, for example. But when you can pull from things that are real, so they look a little bit more familiar, I find that just helps a ton. Also, pardon me, I just had lunch, so I'm like, I don't know if you've had like a big lunch and then you just feel a little heavy afterwards. I don't usually eat before the streams, but man, if I don't, by the end of the stream, I'm just wiped out. So I thought, you know what, let me eat this time just to make sure I don't pass out. All right, let me just do a quick check-in here. What's up, Sam, Shaz, Alden, hello. What is 19 colon? Oh, that's the time. My bad. 1911. I was like, what is that? Okay, so it's 7 p.m. roughly in the UK. 19 p.m. Which is always weird to me. It's Svetlana in Russia. Wow, you're up late. Super late. Hello, Raul from Colombia. Roshan, Netherlands. I've seen that movie. Well, I haven't seen the movie Death Race, Roshan, but I've certainly heard of it. And Yeah, I was just thinking it'd be fun to do some sort of, futuristic dystopian kind of train thing. This land train is what I decided to call it. Went for a run this morning, didn't know what I was going to do, just sat down just now and I was like, wheels, tread, oh yeah, let's do a land train. So sometimes that's just how creativity works. But continue to hit me up with your ideas, suggestions. I think we had a request for some Star Wars stuff, so I can probably do that. All right, so now I'm going to drop the opacity again. And I'm going to keep all that richness, that roughness of the sketch there as I do this overlay. All right, so now I'm going to switch to a new brush. Like I said, this is my new Photoshop brush set. So let's scroll down here, and I do have a stencil, a clean stencil. It's just my take on a tight digital pencil that I like to use. Roshan says don't watch it. All right, we'll see. All right, let's go. Is this a new layer? Yep, it's a new layer. So let's turn off the interface here. And now this is where I'm going to zoom in. Zoom in, rotate canvas or my tablet, whichever I feel like. And now this is where I'll take a little bit more time and finesse. So while I do this, think about other ideas, suggestions, things you want to see. I'm hoping to get to some technical videos this week. So let me know if something's missing or if you have questions. The best way to do that though actually is leave a comment and that's on the YouTube. Leave a comment on the YouTube or shoot me an email. All right. Of course, Patreons, if there's something you guys want to see, I will be happy to address that first. I don't even know what the right term is. Is it Patreon? Is it Patron? I'm not quite sure, but needless to say, I am grateful for the support, for you guys being here, all that good stuff. Well, Roshan, now because you said don't watch it, now I'm like curious and I want to watch it. What's the weirdest movie you guys have seen? All right, there's an interesting question. I've seen plenty of weird movies. I went through a phase once where all I wanted to watch was just really weird movies. Let me actually group these together, and I'm going to back off the opacity even more. Okay. Human Centipede is probably, that ranks up there in terms of weird movies. If kids are watching, do not watch that movie. It's really weird. Let's see, what else? The Lobster was really weird. I don't know if you guys have seen The Lobster. That's another one. Super weird movie. And I guess I should say weird meaning, something happens you don't expect. And you don't have to spoil the movie, just Mulholland Drive. Donnie Darko is really good. That's actually one of my favorite movies. Seriously. What else we got? A gramophone. Okay. Maybe we could do like a steampunk gramophone or something. Some sort of steampunk audio device. How about that? In fact, let me write that down so I don't forget. All right, and then we had Star Wars. What's up, Okan? Thank you for the request. Unfortunately, I am doing sci-fi stuff. So if I can do a water bottle, it'll probably happen at the end. So my focus right now is just doing some sci-fi sketches. Kind of do that on Sundays. Wednesday is typically the product show, where we do product concepts. Sundays I like to keep for sci-fi though. I guess I could do a sci-fi water bottle. I don't know what that would look like. starting to feel like I have a certain approach to cabins that I like. I like this bubble thing with these supports, you know, and then I can draw the backside in here, maybe add some details as we go. All right. Also, I should mention, I do fancy myself more of a line artist than I do a painter. So I'm gonna focus on, I think last time I tried to paint and it was kind of awkward. That's not to say I don't need the practice. I do need the practice, but I'll spare you guys this week. All right, that was terrible. Did you guys know Photoshop has a Symmetry drawing tool? Because I just discovered that this week. Again, like I said, I haven't been using it much lately. So that was a pleasant discovery. Did you know that, Roshan? You can set up axes and stuff. Because yeah, I had no idea. No idea whatsoever. All right, this is Sketch-A-Day Live, Sunday, May 24th. Thanks for joining. Sci-Fi Sunday. So I'm doing a land train because I felt like it. All right, so there it is, kind of zoomed out a little bit. Roshan says the sci-fi water bottle was done a few years ago. By Fuse Project. Fuse Project, a design firm in the Bay Area in San Francisco, if you don't know who they are. You know, not everyone here is an industrial designer, so check it out. I'm trying to think of some products you might recognize that they did. I know for sure they did the Jawbone series. If you remember the One Laptop Per Child project, they also did that. I'm going deep in the archives here. Anyhow, they tend to put 3D surfaces on everything. That's kind of their signature move. And some people like that. All right, so let's keep going here with our land train concept. I gotta figure out what to do here. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just kind of going by the rough sketch lines that I had before. Again, just trying to move very quick. Keep it loose. So one more time, informal poll. Do you guys prefer the live format or the pre-recorded videos? I like the live because I get to talk with you, but curious if anyone else has other thoughts. Also uploaded, well, I didn't upload, I posted to my blog yesterday. I had a chance to work with the Advanced Design Organization. They're based out of Chicago, and we interviewed, well, not really interviewed, well, I guess a little bit. I had a chat with my first boss out of college, which was pretty fun to just reminisce. And I had a lot of thoughts during the chat, but didn't want to interrupt him, you know. Anyhow, I shared a little anecdote on my blog just about working hard. I guess I can just tell you here. So when I got to my first internship, they actually told me, they were like, yeah, so you're kind of the filler intern. I mean, they didn't say it in those words, but that was the situation. I had an internship for 6 weeks, and They're like, yeah, we don't actually have a desk for you. You know, this desk, this computer, this everything, all the nice stuff is for these other guys. And I'm like, okay. So when someone tells you something like that, you have a choice. You know, you can be offended, or you can look at the opportunity and go, hey, I'm gonna make the best of this. So I decided to try and make the best of it. And in the meantime, I knew my time at the internship was running out. Just to give you even more context, like, let me turn on picture in picture so you guys on the YouTube can see me. So at the same time, I was the bagel guy. Like every Monday there was a meeting with all the designers in the office and the operational staff, and my intern mentor, let me think, I think it was Matt Day. He's at Google, I think now. Anyhow, he would tell me to go around and take the bagel order. And so every Monday, I went around, got the orders, and then I would run to the bagel shop, and I had to go so that by the time I got back, I was there in time for the meeting. Right? And it was a learning experience, absolutely. Like, did I have to get bagels? No. But I think for me it was important just to show that I was willing to work hard. So I did that. Actually applied for an internship at Target in Minneapolis, and they have a great internship program. At least I don't know what it's like nowadays, but back then it was pretty fantastic of an internship program. And so I get accepted, you know, have a phone call, they see my portfolio, it's like, yes, let's take you. And I go back to one of my coworkers, or I guess bosses at Astro. I'm like, hey, I got this, I'm gonna be leaving. They're like, why are you leaving? Like, well, you know, this was only for 6 weeks. And they're like, you don't have to go. We love having you. And I was just blown away, because here I am thinking I'm the filler intern. And because of hard work, turned that into an opportunity. And ultimately, when I graduated, that was where I ended up working. That was my first job. I'd gone on to intern at GM the summer after that. Had a great time there as well. Learned a ton of what I didn't want to do, but also just learned a lot of good habits, practices, techniques, all of that stuff. So yeah, whatever opportunity comes your way, in other words, you know, try and figure out a way to make the best of it. Keep those relationships alive and fresh. Invest in people, because you never know when you'll work with them again, or need a hand or opportunity or whatever. So anyhow, that was just a little bit on my first internship. Okay, let's finish up the treads here, and then we'll start adding some color and texture and so forth. I'm going to try and, again, do this really quickly. We're, 30 minutes in, so we're making good time here. So if you've never sketched treads before, like I said, take a look at some real treads. You'll kind of get a gist of what's happening. There's a lot you can cheat on. Like if this is a rubberized tread, you could do something like that and get away with it. But I think what I'm going to do here is do something a bit more aggressive, which will take a little time, but I think it'll be fun. So I'm just putting some points here. Roshan says, meanwhile, the intern at Astro Studios is pre-ordering bagels right now. Maybe they are. All right, I like the idea of these like fins or flaps on the treads. So I got to figure out a way to make this a little easier for myself. Let me just throw in a couple lightly sketched lines to kind of guide where these points will be, which will make it a little easier. Like so. Down the middle as well. So I like these, maybe this is driving on soft soil or something, or sand. So you need these fins or flanges coming off the treads. But yeah, whatever opportunity comes your way, I guess a little daily dose of advice for you as well. Whatever opportunity comes your way, make the most of it. Stay positive, right? I have an article coming out in the Industrial Design Society of America quarterly. I won't spoil it for you, but it has to do with a little bit about work ethic. So when that drops, I will tell you, or at least repost or post it. I don't know. I don't know what the protocol is. I gotta talk to the peeps there, and then I'll see. So Sketch Today Live, thanks for hanging out. If you do want to catch the full stream, remember, if you're on Instagram, hit up youtube.com/sketchtoday.com. That's where we hang and chat, discuss things. This happens 3 times a week. Wednesdays, Sundays, and Fridays. You're here for the Sunday show. Usually I go around 2, but I think 12 is a pretty good time. So then I'm not totally ignoring my children. A little later, it was a bit more difficult. By the time I'm done with the stream, I can feed them lunch. They'll be alive. And then I do this Wednesdays at 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific. Just depends on the day, what's happening. I'll post a reminder on Instagram, as well as if you subscribe to the YouTube and have alerts on, you'll know when I go live. And working to include that information on my website as well. So don't want you guys to miss out and miss this if you're interested in watching, okay? And occasionally I do, lives in between then. Or sometimes we have special guests, interview episodes. There'll be more of those as well. I'm trying to line up a few interesting peeps. Maybe even have a guest sketcher, we'll see. Alright, so let's get the rest of this done. I'm just gonna throw some coggy wheelie things in here. Again, if you need the reference, you can always, in this case, look up construction equipment, see what's happening, and then make your best approximation of it. I'm not interested in one-to-one with stuff like this, but rather just creating the overall effect. So that's kind of my approach. Granted, there's some heavy equipment designer out there going, "What is that? What are you doing?" To which I'd say, I'm having fun, man. What are you doing? All right, a little shading here, perhaps. All right. I call these sci-fi lines and details. But if you at the same time, I'm thinking about in terms of functional things. Like, what if you need to remove this cover? You probably need some grip points, right? You need fasteners here and there. But in reality, I like to think of them just as sci-fi lines, if you will. Yes, so there is a butterfly in the top right. I don't know, maybe I had experimental mode on and I just didn't even realize or know. But yeah, I was just playing with it the other day and thinking, wow, this is pretty cool. You know, Sketchbook Pro famously kicked things off with Symmetry, and a lot of people love it for that reason. It's still a great product. I don't particularly use it a ton. How about we throw a hatch on the side? But yeah, I don't use it a ton, so there is no quick line in Photoshop though, to my knowledge. Maybe they'll add that soon. For you quick line addicts out there. Quick line is a way for you to draw perfect circles, lines, do the things that once required a lot of skill. Super handy though if you're doing like a tight drawing. I just think it tends to suck the life out of a drawing, and you have to do so much more on the back end to recoup the life that was in your drawing. Alright, so if everything looks stiff up front, you have to do a lot more with the color than you would otherwise. I also find in my case that it communicates to clients a certain level of finish unintentionally. It's like, oh, this looks great, it's perfect. Can I pay you now? I'm like, whoa, we're not even done, I'm just starting. I've had that happen a few times. Not because of Quicklime, but because something's too finished. Let's see, do we get any other weird movies? Everyone says they love the live. Samsung Frame TV was brilliant. I didn't realize Fuse Project did that. I didn't realize. AKA Ninja asked a good question. What digital art program should aspiring industrial designers use? iPad, Surface, Photoshop, Procreate, or Sketchbook? You know, in truth, it really doesn't matter so much what you use. Whoa, I was using the wrong keyboard there. I have two keyboards in front of me right now. It doesn't matter what you use so much as how you use it, okay? And if you know, I had another epiphany this week, just out on a run or walk, I don't remember. But if you understand the why behind something, the how really doesn't, it's not as difficult, the how, right? So, in other words, regardless of the tool, if you understand the why, you know, why light works the way it does, why we use line weights the way we do as artists, why proportion matters, all this stuff. If you understand the why, it just makes the how so much more obvious. Or you come up with your own techniques, because really it's about the why, not the how. Maybe that's a new article in the making, we'll see. Alright, so there's our tank sketch, line work. Come in, maybe add some more shading here and there. I don't want to overshade it too much. I'm going to throw in some textures, color, and all that good stuff. So probably stick to one main color texture, and then we'll just highlight shadow on top of it. I'm going to show you a couple cool brushes I use and techniques to kind of move a little quickly here. Alright, just a reminder, if you are watching on the Insta, the stream will only go for about an hour or so. So if you want to catch the full show, youtube.com/sketchday.com. If you don't care, that's cool. We're going to hang out and have fun on our big screens. I guess some of you are probably watching on a phone too, which actually makes my sketches look better. So if you are watching on a phone, thank you. All right, so now let's go ahead and bring in some texture here. Let's fill that screen up. Did I watch any of For Life? I have not. I have not. Not yet. All right, let's see here. So we have our locomotives, and I was just looking up some metal textures today just to see if I could combine a few of these. You know, this one's pretty good, but it's a paid texture. So a lot of times I like to look for free stuff. Yeah, here's one, myfreetextures.com. So I can just copy this image. Let's see, copy image, and then I'll just paste it in Photoshop here. And we can use this just on different parts of the sketch. Now, you have a couple options here. You could color your whole sketch. You could use this texture as the base for your entire sketch. Lots of different things you could do. I'm gonna use this just as an effect layer. So let's grab a couple more. See what else there is. 10 free rusty metal textures. That's cool. See what we can do here. Nope, not found. That stinks. I didn't check this site before, so at least it didn't load up anything unsavory. Let's see if I can find something else real quick. Public domain textures. So these might be free. Public domain pictures. I'm gonna copy this image. Go ahead and paste that. All right, so this is probably enough for now. If I need any more, I'll pull those in. And on a new layer, I'll put this in the back. Let's just apply a quick base color. Okay, I'm just gonna use a simple brush here. Let's see, just a simple round brush. I thought about including like a fill brush in my kit or set, but the default's actually pretty good. I don't need to do that to you guys. So you can do this a couple ways. You can just paint the border. Sometimes I will actually use the Lasso tool for this as well. If you hold Shift and click, that's a good way to create a straight line in Photoshop. All right, but my goal here is just to paint the outline. And this layer I can use to quickly load the selection, so to speak. So if I control click the layer, it's going to select all the pixels on this layer. So taking a little bit of time to do this actually saves you time later. It doesn't have to be perfect. So like I said, the lines kind of help carry this sketch as well. Let's fill that in. So now we have some color there, and now we can start to play with the texture as well. I'm actually gonna adjust this a little bit. I want it a little lighter. So play with my levels, hit that like so. I haven't seen Cloud Atlas yet, but I do like the Wachowskis. I heard they're making a new Matrix movie. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so let's play with these textures now. You know, you can use them small or big. I'm trying to think here which way I want to go with this. Let's go with small for this guy. And start to just erase what we don't need. Because again, this is just going to be used with some blending mode, right? And if I adjust the layers and so forth, I get that texture like so, and then I can play with these blending modes until I find a nice mix. Right, and that might be something like color burn here. We can adjust the opacity, and now I have kind of a texture to start, and we can duplicate, move, scale, transform this, whatever we need to do in here. Okay, just like that. Do the same thing with the other texture as well. This one, I kind of like the colors though, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my pixels that I created and create a mask, and there's this little link between your layer and your mask. If you click that, you can move the pixels around independent of the mask on your layer. So that just means now when I transform, I can transform outside, or yeah, I can make this big enough that, you know, it covers a large portion of the image here, but it's not overwhelming. Okay, so let's go ahead and erase some of this. One thing I haven't figured out with my brushes yet, and I don't know why, it's partly why I haven't released them. In fact, I was using the wrong set there. Let's see, here we go. One of the reasons I haven't is some of the brushes work as erasers and some don't. And I'm trying to figure out a way to fix that. So yeah, so if I pick eraser and then I pick this brush, it's not letting me. I think it has something to do with the, yeah, it went back to brush. I think it has something to do with the way the brush is created. So I just need to look into that a little bit more and I'll figure it out. So for now, let's just use one of these brushes I already have here. See if I can do a little bit of erasing. And my goal is to make this texture, right, feel like maybe some rust on the surface. Oh, interesting. That brush didn't work either. All right, let's see what we can do here. I'm just gonna do a fade then, until I do some more research and figure it out. Okay, so on the top of the train, let's get some light in so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And as I do this, I'm using the Polygonal Lasso tool, partly because it's just faster. And I can just make a big selection here. Like so. And let's go ahead and fill that and use some white. And if I adjust the opacity, it now acts kind of like a highlight on the layer. If we want to soften that, we can as well. Adjust the opacity and so forth. We can do the same thing with those dark bits, areas that would be in shadow. You can brush this in, you can lasso it in. Like I said, I like the lasso because it is pretty fast. Let me see. That'll be in shadow under the wheels here, or the wheel well. I'll probably have to do some erasing, but that's okay. And let's get the underside here and complete our shape. New layer. I always try to work on a new layer, as that's just gonna help help me be a bit more organized. How did I train to reach this high level of skills? Well, you practice every day. You do a little bit of something every day. And eventually you find that you're getting better, and usually you can tell, you know, people will notice your work. A good way to do it, honestly, and I think what's made a big difference for me, is if you put your work out there. Okay, so let's play with one of these markers and I'll just show you. But if you put your work out there, it opens yourself up to criticism really quickly, because everyone has an opinion about stuff. So that's one way, and you'll get a lot of feedback very quickly if you do that. All right, so just painting with some white here. I'm trying to bring out some of these pipes on the side. Now, a lot of this just depends on the light in your scene. So if you're outdoors, you might want to use a bluish tint, whatever. I'm not going to worry too much about it right now, but we're just painting with light and shadow. That's basically it. Painting, sketching, drawing with light and shadow, whatever you want to call it. Thanks again for joining Sketch Day Live. So here on the treads, I actually made a layer and put that on the very top because I want to capture just a little hit of light on the tops of some of these things. And sometimes painting over the sketch lines can help add, you know, not that this is a shiny train per se, but that glow effect is just a lot nicer when it's above the sketch, I think. All right, let's get this wheel side in here. The cool thing about painting with light and shadow is after this, I can just pick whatever color I want underneath and play with the blending modes, and I should have a decent blend. Meaning this work is not in vain, I can change things, right? It's almost like sketching or drawing on toned paper. If you've ever seen that, if you caught, I did it on a live stream a little while back. It's kind of like that, where once you have that tone down, which is inherent to the toned paper, it's really easy to just play with going lighter and darker, as opposed to working your way up from, you know, a totally white piece of paper, which personally I'm comfortable doing, but it does take a little bit of time. I use OBS for streaming. If you're interested, I'm happy to answer questions offline about that. I'm thinking about actually consulting with people on how to get their stream set up, because it's complicated. I'm not gonna lie, it's complicated. And if you want to do it right, you got to have the right tools and kind of know what you're doing as well. Okay, so I have this spatter brush as a part of my kit as well. So I'll use that just to add some texture where I may not have with this base texture that I created. You know, this midsection's really rusty. We'll pull out some of these lines with some highlights when we're ready. And under here, let's go ahead and add some texture on our little treads on the wheels. I'll probably add some lighter speckles as well. The reason for that would be, you know, if this thing's kicking up dust as it's blazing through the desert or dirt or whatever, we'd want to capture some of that as well. Alright, Sketch Day Live, thanks again. Play with your opacity, you can pull out some details. Emran says, a magician never reveals his secrets. That's true. How you doing, dude? Good to see you here. Alright, so I'm going to take that texture now and maybe place it on a few other spots on my sketch. Now remember, I do have that mask on these layers, so that's why I'm able to move kind of quickly here and drag this texture around. And as I mentioned before, if you do this the right way, let's go ahead and lock these. I'm going to group these and call these texture or something, maybe. This is the rare occasion you'll see me label a layer. But I can drag this around. We can change the background color even. You know, if I want to select that, now I can make a solid color layer, and we could even pick something from the rust so it feels a little bit better. Like so. On these rust layers, let me think. I think I'm good with the rust. So I'm gonna duplicate these just as a backup. Let's go ahead and flatten that. And now I can play with my hue and saturation. It's a bit saturated, so let's desaturate this, make it a little bit darker. Like so. Play with it. Why would you sketch on toned paper? It's not my favorite thing to do, but some people love it. It certainly gets you a lot of attraction online because there's a, I don't know, wow factor to it, I guess. People like seeing it. Wow, that's cool. But it's an easy way to quickly build up contrast in a sketch. Get some values. So I would say that's probably one reason. Roshan, I don't know if you want to chime in and answer that one. I know it's not your show, but I mean, I rarely do them. I used to do them in school from time to time, just for fun, but not so much a thing now. All right, so here we go. We're getting pretty close. I just need to pull some more value out of this side, get some of these pipes shining a bit more. Trying to think if I covered up my marker layer. I don't think I did, so let's try and recover that. Okay. In Photoshop as well, if you hold Command, if you've changed your settings like I have, or sometimes you can, if you're on that arrow tool, there's an option for you to go auto select layer. I don't like it because no matter where you tap, it's just gonna pick that layer. So if you turn that off, if you hold Command and click, it'll click the layer that the pixels are being referenced. The other thing you can do is you can right click and it'll give you a rundown of all the layers that you're working with. So you can pick that layer and then move it, transform, and do all the stuff you need to do. All right. How long have I been working on this? Why is that so light? It's 10%. Oh, it's a layer. Okay. So let's go ahead and start to add a little shadow in here where we need it. This is also a marker that I created. I say marker, but marker in quotation marks. It's a brush that behaves like a marker that you might find familiar. So if you like to use Photoshop, I think you'll really like this one. At least I do. So yeah, you get those blends and a little bit of texture as well if you're using this brush. Yeah, I don't think, I'm trying to think if I've even done a tone paper at work. I don't think I have. Looks like our Instagram live ended. So yeah, just using this marker now, I can add some value. And you'll see here how contrast just helps really, I think, pull out the details. And again, if you understand the why, the how, is just that much easier. So I believe Svetlana and Tom signed up for a certain level on Patreon that will get them access to some guides. So I'm gonna start putting those together. I think you guys are the first ones to sign up for that, so I appreciate it. It's a good opportunity for me to get my button gear, get all that going for you, but I will be sending you your stickers. I've never sent mail to Russia though. Hopefully you get the stickers, Svetlana. If there's something else you want, let me know. We'll figure it out. But much appreciated. Yeah, this brush is really nice to use, and I'm not just saying that because I made it, but I mean that too. But it is quite a joy. And when I make my brushes, I think I mentioned this last time, I actually take real samples of textures and, you know, take a lot of time to really fine tune things. So hopefully you enjoy them when they're released. All right, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. I think next I'll do, I can do a lightsaber. I could do some sort of alien creature. My kids and I just finished watching The Mandalorian. I'm not gonna draw The Mandalorian. Or the guy, whatever his name is. It's a good show though. Super good. Oh yeah, I should remind you, we do have a Discord. I've been pretty active in there this week. Tom's in there getting feedback on his sketches. I've given him a couple assignments based on his work. So if that's something you're interested in, join. Link should be in the video description. If not, let me know. Hit me up. Oh, I should mention as well, the cool thing about this brush is, or one of the cool things rather, it actually, let's see, let's change that to multiply. It'll actually follow your stroke as well, which is super handy. So, like that, instead of being a straight chisel, okay? And it does have that build up, like I was saying. So if you do want that kind of marker stroke, check that out. See, Roshan says the advantage of tone paper is the base color has a mid-tone. Yep, so it's saving time. I mean, basically that's what I've done here, is establish some mid-tone of sorts. And then on top of this, I can paint with my highlights and shadows. It's a bit too much on that one. Just want to pull some more detail out of the back here, so bear with me, guys. And I actually think I made a mistake. I changed one of my layers to multiply when it had some white on it, so I'll just have to redo some of these little highlights under here that I had added. But it's all good. So yeah, you guys let me know, would you like to see something of a lightsaber? I know Svetlana asked for a musical device like a gramophone. I could do that. Maybe a steampunk version of one. That'll be fun. Actually, it's probably enough for today because this has been going on a bit. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to, let's see. I'll use this ballpoint pen. I'll use this one. And the goal here is to just create a little bit of definition. I'm going to put this on the very top. Just a little bit of definition here now on some of these part lines. Okay. So just a little white and black. All right, stuff like that. Matt says, I was going to upgrade to that level once the guides started coming. Which guides are you talking about? I'm a little confused. Maybe I missed that reference. My apologies if I did. So yeah, just a little white where we need it.
I think I forgot to post about the stream on Facebook today. There's always something. Any of you guys Star Trek fans, I should say? I was teaching a class at college once. This was, I don't know, a few years ago. And I was giving some example. And I was like, yeah, it's a cube, like the Borg cube. And everyone was like looking at me like I was crazy, like, what? So maybe it's just a generational thing, but I thought that was pretty funny. I feel like maybe today people like Star Wars a lot more than Star Trek. In truth, this thing would not be that shiny, but I'm cheating a little bit just to pull out the details I want. But these are all the little things that make a big difference, I think. All right. And if you need to mute something, you can always erase a little bit, use a mask, whatever you got to do. So not a big deal. You know, lean into that contrast. See if it helps you pull out your form and your shapes as you go. Okay, a couple more things here and I think we're good. Okay, we just need to address the contrast up front here. So I'm gonna pick those pixels that we first sketched. I can use that to just mask things. And I'm a little bit intense on my dark area there, so let's just take this eraser, just kind of lighten things up a little bit. And for the inside here, I'm just gonna clickety click with my Polygonal Lasso tool and just do some quick dark shapes on the inside. All right, something like that. Just enough to hint at, hey, you know, maybe there's some sort of control panel. And you can do this very quickly with the Polygonal tool. just like that. Something like that. If you want to put a person in there, you can do that as well. Super easy. Hello, Oscar from Mexico. Lightsaber rifle. Actually, that would be interesting. Like some sort of weapon with a lightsaber on the end. Maybe I'll do that. That sounds fun. Okay, I want to ground this a bit, so I'm gonna add just to wrap it up a little context shadow here on the ground. And I think I'm gonna go for contrast, something like that. And I just want to lighten up the front here just a little bit, guys. So let's use I've got a few highlighter options that I can use, little airbrushes. What's cool about these is they have a core. Okay, so a nice defined core. You don't find that on a typical airbrush. All right, so pressure sensitive, but also size responsive, and you do get that core. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use here, just on the front. So I just want to lighten this up. Let's actually change the blending mode. How about we do, what was it, overlay? And now erase what I don't need. So once again, contrast is what's going to give you your surface definition whenever you're sketching or illustrating rather. Contrast is your friend. Don't be afraid to punch it up, like I'm gonna do here. These teeth they're kind of getting a little bit lost. All right, so I'm just gonna take new layer, some black. Just like that. That one tooth is off, but I don't want to fix it. Right there. Maybe I can fix it actually. I'll just make it a little bit wider. And then I'll fudge it with maybe some color like this. And use my marker brush. Just a little bit of a fudge. When I say fudge, I mean just doing what you can to fix or correct without getting too serious about it. All right, so there's our little tank, land train, if you will. As always, there's a lot I could do to this. Maybe I will. Reminder, if this is your first time, hit that subscribe button, but also more importantly, if you like the sketches, then you can hit up the Google Drive where I do upload all the files. And in this instance, that does include the PSD file. So if you want that, check it out. You'll be able to find it on the Google Drive. Star Wars Pod Racer. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, how about we do some sort of Pod Racer style thing, and then we'll do Svetlana's gramophone. as well. This might be a long show, but I'm having fun. All right. Okay, so there's our first sketch. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Now you've seen my file structure on my computer. Actually, I'll go ahead and cut. Boom. Hi. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and save that.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. Once again, if you liked it, share, give it a like and a subscribe, but be sure to hit that bell and turn on alerts. Come find me on the socials. I'm at sketchaday.com on Instagram or at Daily Sketches on Twitter, and I'm super easy to find on Facebook. Well, that's it for today, and we'll see you guys next time right here on Sketchaday.